hardest positions to choose. So our three candidates, well, our first one is Francois Pienaar. So as I was saying before with that like a good leader is better than having an individual, that totally applies here because he's a good leader. He led his team to victory against the odds, and that's the reason he's so good. He always performs against the odds. He performs under pressure.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think in the 1995 World Cup, really highlighted that, along with almost very similar to what we saw in the 2019 World Cup this couple of last year. But Francois Pienaar had a lot on his shoulders, but still led the team in such an amazing way, and to get the achievement in what they did in that World Cup period. And but as an individual, as a player, he was uncompromising.
Yeah.
He demanded the best from his players, and he got it out of them.
Yeah, he was very like, I don't know, like, how do you call it? Like, motivating.
Yes, very much so, and very respected by all his opponents and teammates and World Rugby, and a dynamic player, and I think that period of time with South Africa just coming out of the wilderness, for want of a better word, and really starting to dominate and reassert themselves in World Rugby. Pienaar was, I guess, a leading light in that, and had demonstrated not only off field but also on field and his capabilities there. So certainly a very, very strong candidate for the open side flanker position.
Okay, so our next candidate is Dad.
No, I wish it would be me, but I'm thinking it might be George Smith.
Yeah.
All right, George Smith. And what do you think about George Smith? You want me to talk about him?
Agile. Yeah, we were talking about how Jerome Kano sort of reinvented the game. He is one of it's protege. If you learn or something, right?
Yeah.
He's sort of like a Jerome Kano protege,
but from an open side perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right, and from a very young age, I think 1920, George Smith really demonstrated his capability, and he's gone from there. He's well over 130 odd.
Very tall. He's very good in the line out.
Yeah, and agile. He'd kick the ball a lot. It's almost like, I think he really showed what you could do. A mobile 7 being a link man.
Yeah.
Into the back line from the forwards, and I think that's one of the strong points, as well as very strong over the ball. That George Smith was. Yeah.
You can say the last one.
And I guess you can't really have another conversation about open side flankers without talking about either David Pocock or Richie McCaw. And I think McCaw, no matter what your thoughts about the guy, was an amazing open side flanker.
But you have to remember what I was talking about before, because would he have been as respected, or would he have done as well if he wasn't in the same team that he was in?
Yeah, and I think a good point. You could look at McCaw, and I was looking at some stats the other day when they were playing either the Lions or one of the other home nations. He single-handedly, I think, 30% of rucks, 25%.
Yeah, he's quick to the go. He'll get tackled, push the ball back, and he'll be in the ruck. If someone makes a break and it's like 30 minutes, he'll already be up and he'll be the second man in the ruck, no doubt.
Yeah, a lot of
he's
repeat
just fast
sets,
to
right?
get up. Yeah.
Yeah,
He has very good fitness.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm gonna go for Francois Pienaar because he's experienced. He knows how to bring a team up. He knows how to perform under pressure, and he knows how to go against the odds. You, Dad?
Yeah, tough decision. Very tough decision, but
one of the hardest to choose.
I'd have to agree with you in that exactly.
Yeah, I think choosing an open side flanker is definitely it would be the hardest job for a captain because there's just so many good open side flankers.
And we didn't even talk about Sam Warburton. Who's an amazing open side flanker as well. So
yeah, finally at the end, or we're not at the end. We are gonna do a part 2 where we have our backs, but we are gonna do our 3 best number 8s in the world, and we're gonna choose one of them to be in our team. So My first one is Sergio Parisi, because he started very young, and even though he wasn't in the best team, he wasn't in like a New Zealand, he was in Italy, he still performed. He still did pretty well for the team that he was in. He's very agile and he's good at tackling too.
I agree, Finn. You know, I think what you were saying before about successful people in successful teams, you know, I don't think the Italians had the success that sometimes they deserved, but he really stood out and was recognised globally as being one of the great players in that position. You know, I think he played for Stade Francais and led that team from number 8 for a number of years. But you know, the longevity of the man, a number of World Cups he's been in, and the way that he's led that team, not as successful as it could be, but the way he's led that team certainly puts him as one of the key role models in the number 8 jumper for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to add David Pocock too.
Yeah, tough call. You know, Pocock started his career as a number 7 and nicknamed Bam Bam as after the legendary Flintstones kid, because he was so strong. And he moving from the centres in schoolboy rugby into a number 7, he was able to bring a lot of speed and agility, but in later years moved to number 8 to accommodate that sort of role and set up within the team that we saw with the Australian teams moving forward. So speed, strength on ball, hard at the defence, and a great pilfer. But I agree. He's a number 8. He played an amazing game too.
Yeah. Okay. And your final one?
I think Kieran Reid, in the mould of Zin
very
Zambrook,
good.
who I think was one of the greatest of all time players.
Yeah, honourable mention to Zin
Zambrook. Yeah, you know, only number 8 I've seen drop kick a goal from a long, long way up.
Yeah.
You know, he was in that mould. Reid plays differently to a lot of number 8s. He plays very wide, a lot out in the 5 and 15 metre channel, and scored a lot of tries out there. From a purist, I think from a purist and a longevity, I think I think we've got a clear winner from a number 8 role. And who do you think that should be?
Let me just add with Kieran Reid. He like I was talking about with Johnny Eales. I think that because he could play multiple positions, but instead of going for Kieran Reid, this might shock a lot of people. It will shock a lot of people. I am going to go for Sergio Parisi, because he started very young and he's very experienced and he knows how to lead a team, and he's very good at the game. He knows the game inside out.
Yeah. Uncompromising.
Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. That is the forwards video. Next week we're going to post a backs video where we're going to see who is the best back from 9 to 15, and maybe the week after that we might post who would we put on the subs. But thank you guys for watching. We'll see you